All right, so good afternoon, good evening, depending on watching the recording of this. And then good evening to everybody that is joining live. My name is Adedeji, the president of the DL4 International for All, CGS in OYE-EKITI government of Ekiti State. And I'm so excited to welcome you all to this fantastic bootcamp titled Bridging Service to Success, Career Skill Bootcamp for Club Members. Okay, and I'm going to be inviting on board, going to call the podium, yes, the virtual podium, our first speaker, who is the Odetayo David Moyowa. But before I call him, I would like to read his profile so we can know the person that is going to be talking to us, and then we can also know that anybody that are bringing here today, they're fantastic people, not just that they are experts in their field. We are not bringing anybody just from anywhere. All right, so for many people that are there for, if you're there for, say I in the chat, you should know Mr. Mayo. Mr. Mayo is the National Project Manager for the DL4 Initiative. So I'm just really going to like read his profile. So Mr. Odetayo David Mayowa is a passionate political science graduate, a seasoned project manager, and a purpose-driven youth advocate whose work sits at the intersection of leadership, education, and social innovation. He is the founder and executive director of I Believe, I Value Leadership, okay? A fast-growing youth-focused organization committed to raising the next generation of ethical, visionary, and socially responsible leaders across Nigeria and Africa. Mr. David's journey in leadership and development is marked by a strong commitment to systems that work, especially for underserved communities, from initiating school-based mentorship programs, organizing leadership bootcamps, and public speaking initiatives. His approach has always centered around young people, giving them not just a voice, but the tools to use it effectively. He has successfully led several high-impact national programs. As a project manager at Mind the Gap, he spearheaded the Multi-Data Digital Space Project, empowering young Nigerians with tech and digital tools. He currently oversees the Youth Empowered Project in partnership with Nigerian Bottling Company, impacting over 8,000 youth across 7 states. His leadership as National Project Coordinator for the NYC program over 4 years saw him reach more than 20,000 corp members, delivering structured programs on civic engagement and employability. In his role with on-the-job skill strength, supported by Google.org, Mr. David managed the end-to-end implementation of a project that trained and placed over 7,000 young Nigerians in paid partnership, lending access, skill, and opportunity to bridge real-world employment gaps. At Ivy League, Mr. David is pioneering grassroots leadership development through initiatives like Adopt a School Prefect, Leadership in Rural Areas, and Fit for the Future. His work has directly empowered over 4,000 class captains, school prefects, and youth between the ages of 7 to 29, with leadership training, digital literacy, personal development, and value-based membership. The ripple effects of these interventions are being felt in classrooms, communities, and campaigns for good governance. Mr. David's unwavering commitment is to raise leaders who lead with empathy, responsibility, and competence. Through advocacy, structured programs, and hands-on mentorship, is helping shape a generation ready to build a better future. So I'm going to be calling on Mr. David now to please join us as he speak on the topic Reorienting Services for Leadership and Career Success. Thank you so much, sir. You can take the mic, sir.
Thank you. I don't know if you can see me. If you can see me, can I see some thumbs up? If you can see me, right? Oh, you can see me. Thank you once again. I'm so grateful for this opportunity. It means a lot. And not taking it for granted. If you can hear me, that's fine. But I don't know if you can see me also. If you can see me, I want you to also give me a thumbs up, right? Thank you. Beautiful. I must say that in this time and season, we have only very few individuals that have the understanding why they are here, why they are in service here, why they are serving, and what they have plans for. Reorienting service here is very important because every individuals need to understand that you need to have a focus. Without focus, there is a high tendency that you won't even know where you're headed to. It is better to move forward than moving around the same cycle. The theme set before us is bridging service to success. I tell you that every man you see and every successful individual you see provides a service in one way or the other. It could be service that provides finances physically. It could be service that provides warmth. It could be service that actually meets up to the expectations of those that are in need. And now you're either a producer or a consumer. You can be a producer by producing and providing services. And you can also be a producer by also creating services. You can also be a consumer by also ensuring that you consume within your limit, and you can also consume outside of your limit. So there are two things involved. And why it is very important that career skills is very, very in demand is because every youth and everyone who wants to stay relevant needs to have a niche and a career that can help them stand in the test of time. Without a skill, you cannot actually serve very well. You can serve in different capacity, like a president is serving in different capacity, a secretary is serving in different capacity, a member is serving in different capacity, but service are on different level. The question I'll first of all ask every one of us on the call is, what capacity are you serving? I think that's a question that I need everybody to write down right now. What capacity are you serving? Are you serving in a capacity where others are benefiting from, or you are the one benefiting? You need to identify that you as an individual need to serve in a capacity where others benefit from you. But here, you cannot be benefited from when you don't have anything you are rendering. You need to have a skill that helps you. And welcome to your service here. And I like the theme that was given to me. It says reorienting. So when you're talking about reorienting, it's a two words, it's a suffix. There is a suffix. Orienting is a different word. Re means that you're redoing it. It is not where it was. Now you're reorienting. So whatever that was done in your service here in camp, you were oriented. You were oriented into your service here. Now, this is very important for individuals that know that they still have lifeline. When you're real, it means that there was a one chance. Now, there's a second chance for you. So if you identify that there is a whole lot you need to do when it comes to reorienting, it means that you have a lifeline. And this lifeline, if you don't seize the opportunity of this lifeline, it means that you might actually miss it. But for everyone on the call, it's an opportunity for you to identify and actually get it together now. Reorienting, which means that what are the KPIs you need to do, know, and understand in your service year? Your service year is 10 months. And what you do in these 10 months will determine the next phase of life you're going to actually encounter. If you play, joke, you while away time, you have fun, and forget focus, you forget your plans, you forget all the things you need to do while you're still serving, then sorry, you might actually miss it at the long run. But if you know that this is the best time for you to reorient all of that plans, go back, rejig those plans. Now, how do you ensure you reorient your service here? Let me tell you some of the things you need to do to reorient your service here. 1, get a short-term and long-term goal. 2, write down the plans you want to achieve in 1 month, 1 week, every day, in 3 months, and the rest of your service year. 3, ensure you have something you are achieving every day concerning your plans for now and after service year. 5, as an individual, volunteer in different sectors that you have already gotten passion to serve there. For example, I want to be an accountant. So I would find an accounting firm around me and start volunteering 1 hour every day to them and don't even collect pay. And after service here, I'm rest assured that I'm going to be one of the people that they are going to employ, even if I'm not being employed. But I will ensure that when I go there, I do things so that I will be noticed and do the right things and do it well. That does not end there. There are several courses you need to take that drives to your profession and the skill you need to have. As an individual, it is very, very important that you have a knowledge about everything, but you should be master at 1, 2, 3. But if you don't have knowledge of all of these things and you want to be master of all, then you won't be relevant, because with time, those persons that top those professions and top those fields will come sweep you off your feet. So when we talk about reorienting your service here, we're not talking about leadership yet. We're talking about individuals. We're talking about you and me listening to me, which means that if your service here is reoriented and you get it right in your service here, automatically your leadership skills is going to stand tall, that people are already observing the growth process that happens in your life, and that is happening in your life. Once your growth process is being pronounced and identified, automatically people are attracted to you. Hear me. If you do not carry value, people will not be attracted to you. And how do you carry value? It is when you have a skill, you have something to offer. It is when you're being identified. And how do people identify value? They identify value, 1, with loyalty, 2, with service, 3, commitment, 4, with your passion, 5, consistency. And with all of these, your value is going to be speaking for itself. It's speaking for itself. And how do we get career success? Very simple. Very simple. I spoke about volunteering in a field where you love, where you want to identify yourself. Very simple. Identify yourself somewhere. Get yourself involved. That's the first step. Secondly, now try. Give it a trial. And that's what brings us to something called social entrepreneurship. Social entrepreneurship means you follow for impact before profit. So I heard so many things that they were reading about my bio, and I'm wondering, when did all this happen? And these things are so funny because you keep doing things, and when you know you're pursuing after impact, so much things would just be falling into place and you would forget because you have a vision. Every man's vision is embedded in another person's vision. So it means that if you do not connect with someone else's vision, your vision might come to reality, but you would have to struggle. This brings us to mentorship. When you have a mentor, when you have someone who you're looking up to, it helps you fine-tune your career. I'm talking about people at closer proximity, not just mentors afar. I will cite an example from my present mentor, one of my present mentors. His name is Mr. Tayo Oloshune. All of you know him. It is very important that you know that you have a mentor very close to you, that you run things through him, run things through them. They correct you. One great thing that mentorship does for you is it helps you not to do the same mistakes that other persons have done and them themselves have done. So it helps you to actually leapfrog those obstacles, and you see yourself having speed in short period of time. Yes, I understand that so many persons want to start businesses, want to do new things. And see, there is nothing you want to do that is going to be new under the surface of the earth, because someone has already tried it. Maybe the person did not succeed, but you are going to succeed. And that is what we're trying to say. Of recent, I started talking about someone. You know, how many of us know 7 Up? 7 Up, 7 Up drink. How many of us know 7 Up drink? If you know 7 Up drink, can I see your hands up? Can you give me a thumbs up? Beautiful. How many of us have drank it too? I know some of us must have drank 7 Up. Yeah. Nice, good. That person tried a whole lot of 6 good times for 7 Up. The 7th time he got it, and that is why he named it 7 Up. Which means failure is part of success. Which means you not trying means that you are failing and you don't want to be successful. You trying means that you actually want to be successful. Ladies and gentlemen, for you to reorient your service here means that you need to actually bend yourself down and start taking certification. For you to rearrange your service here means that you need to actually start volunteering and giving in your best. For you to rearrange your service here for leadership, basically, you need to understand the fundamentals of what service is all about. Getting to the top means that you need to serve. You need to serve in a capacity. And like the first question I asked is, what capacity are you serving? If you aren't serving in any capacity, it means that there's a whole lot that you need to actually start doing. There's a whole lot you need to start getting yourself involved in. It is not too late. And why we call it reorienting your service here is because we believe that every core member should actually start a business before the end of the service year, get a job before the end of the service year, or apply for scholarship, go to school, further your education. It is very wrong that it's after your service year you will start planning what you want to do. It is an error. So if you as an individual want to get it right in your service year, this is the best time you can try all you need to try to be a success for everyone to see. I tell core members all the time, and I tell them, see, try that business and fail. Fail and start again. Fail and start again. Fail and start again. Whether you like it or not, you get experience and you build your momentum for you to be successful. Why it's going to be very good by doing all of that things is because when you do it, you still have chances to meet people and get ideas for you to get it right. But after service year, if you're not careful and you don't start something meaningful, you might go under depression. Not just depression, you might go under life hacks that might bring you down. So you need to understand that your service here is very important and very, very pertinent for whatever you want to achieve in life. In short, your service here and all you do in your service here determines your next phase in life, whether you will be successful or not. I will count thousands of people that have seen, that have come through all what we've been doing, what we've been saying, and heed to the advices that they started things in their service here, and today they are so comfortable and they are doing exploits. Not even within the four walls of Nigeria, I'm talking in the abroad. I can count a number of proteges out of this space that are doing well in the abroad. Is it the one that the UK government have picked him all the way from Lagos, and right now the UK government is funding everything he's doing? Is it the ones that have gone for scholarship? Is it the ones that are also doing a whole lot of exploits all over the world? This is what we talk about service. Service. They served like never before. They served like it was the last thing they were going to do. Now, away from NYSC, you need to serve in capacities that can help you stand the test of time, because people would want to know what you can offer. People would want to know what you can offer. I'll put a pause here, and I want you to tell me what you've been able to learn in the chat box from our conversation that I've been speaking for the last 20 minutes. So I want to see what we have been hearing, what we've gotten, because it is definitely not just a talk, but an interaction, to see how much you've gotten from this conversation and how you've been carried along. So the chat box is open because I would want to see what we have been able to learn. We have been able to learn. So populate the chat box with what you've been able to learn, what you've gotten out of the conversation, so I would know if I'm not talking to myself. Is someone saying something? All right. So I'm reading the chat box right now. I just saw one post. If you don't carry value, people won't be attracted to you. Beautiful, beautiful. Set short-term goals and long-term goals. Beautiful. Let's keep it coming. 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 Right? While you're doing that, I will just try to round up right now so we can give space to other facilitators that are already here. And I must also commend the president and everyone who has put this into reality. It's a whole lot, and I give you kudos. Get certifications, have mentors, determine what to do next during your service here. Beautiful. So let me round up. The greatest asset you would have is human relationship. Human relationship. As individuals and as humans that you are, you need to build relationships. The highest currency is human. I know all of us know this. But how many people can you vouch for that can stand for you when you're in need? How many people can come up and say, yeah, I can't, no, this person cannot fail. While I'm here, no, I must help this person. How many people can say, no, you don't have a job, I have someone that I can recommend you to? Which means that you need to actually be someone who builds relationship. How do you build relationship? One, through networking. So many of us don't attend conferences. So many of us don't value the people that are around us right now. I mean, NYC friends, people that are colleagues. We're rude to most of them, everybody. We don't care. You're not building relationship. And you're going to miss it eventually. 3, you need to ensure that you respect everyone that comes your way, be it small or old, because you never can tell who that person is. And even if you know them, you don't know what tomorrow owns. That is what we call relationship. So you can build your relationship when you carry a whole lot of solutions that can help you and help others. Everyone is attracted to someone who can provide solution, not a complainer. If you are a complainer, people are not attracted to you. If you are a solution provider, people are attracted to you. I can work under duress. I can work under little or no supervision. It is when there is challenge, we will know if you can do all of those things that you can put in your CV. It is when there are challenges and when there are problems. So, ladies and gentlemen, I said something about carrying value. I said something about you being consistent. I said something about you having a skill. And it's very important that you know that if you're not competent, your skill will not be announced. If you're not consistent, it's obvious that you will not actually be seen, because people would not really see all you carry. Ladies and gentlemen, you need to be orderly. If you're not orderly, people will not take you for who you are meant to be. So you need to actually carry all of these things for your service year to be reoriented. It is good that you get it now. For those who are still finding it difficult, it is very good that you go back, listen to this again. Go back, get a diary, write about your SWOT analysis, know your strengths, your weakness, your opportunities, your threats. Set goals. Set goals. Set your SMART goals. This is a very good time for you to apply for scholarship, apply for things, apply. Take certifications. Just keep bagging the certifications. You never can tell when you need them. Bag them. Go for seminars, free seminars. Go for leadership tutors. Find your skills and ensure you don't end your service here the way you started it. And ensure you also have savings. Because I know most of us, we don't plan to actually save during our service year. You must ensure you serve and you ensure that you, as a person, you save for rainy days. Most of us are not financially inclined, and it is very important that you know how to start planning for your service year. If you don't plan for your service year, it's a whole lot that you're going to actually encounter. Plan for your service year, after your service year, and also ensure you have a backup, because service year is going to be done, 77K will be done, and what will you fall back on? So you need to start thinking. Don't start living like this is the last days of your service year, and start planning what next. Apply, go for seminars, like I said, and do all that is meant to be done. I will leave you with this quote. Small people talk about people. Noisy people gossip about people. Great people provide solutions. If you want to provide solutions, ensure you don't remain where you are. Be a lifelong learner by learning daily and ensuring that you don't remain the same every day. I'm signing up right now, and I say a big thank you once again for the privilege. And we can all connect on LinkedIn, connect on social media platforms, and also try to post about these programs, tell your stories, and also tag us and tell us what you've learned from all of this program. Thank you so much, and see you when we see. God bless you. Thank you. Over to the moderator.
Wow. Thank you so much. I think it's so amazing. Please, let's appreciate Samoyo. I hope that you all learned so much from this. I learned a lot. I have to be the mentorship. You have to submit to mentorship. You have to be valuable. You're not valuable. You're not going to be attracted to valuable people. Thank you so much, Dad. You have learned a lot. Get certification and save. Plan for your service here. Thank you so much, Mr. Mayowa. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Mr. Mayowa is a very busy person, and it takes a lot for him to have been here. And I'm so glad. It's actually an honor that we have him here. And please just appreciate him in the chat. Let's thank you, Mr. Mayowa. Thank you, sir. So we're going to be moving on immediately to the next section. We're going to be talking about crafting a winning CV. And our speaker is here. In fact, it was the first one to join this session. Imagine that our speaker is coming here before all of us. So I'm just going to like read his profile now, and then I'm going to invite him to come up. He has been here, and I'm so glad that we have people as big and as amazing, as knowledgeable and fantastic in their field to be here to facilitate this session. All right, so our next speaker is Mr. Samuel Olokwe. He's the lead writer at CV Planet, an online platform dedicated to helping job seekers craft irresistible CVs and other application documents. He has personally written over 600 CVs for entry level, mid level, and senior professionals, consistently earning positive reviews for his work. As a grammar columnist at People's Daily, one of Nigeria's foremost and trusted national newspapers, Samuel writes about Nigerian English on page 23, of every Saturday's edition through his popular column titled Common Errors in English with Samuel Alimu. With more than 100 detailed articles published, his column has attracted a wide readership across several states. Samuel is also a prolific contributor to the Africa Education Times, a confidential publication focused on education development across African countries. There, he writes insightful columns addressing the challenges and solutions within the African education sector. Additionally, it contributes to EduTimes English, where it provides regular corrections on common English usage. Thank you so much, Mr. Samuel, for being part of this. Thank you so much for stepping to do this and following the invitation. Please, you can take the mic, sir. Thank you, sir. We're so glad to have you here, sir.
Thank you so much, Mr. Abdulateef Adedeji. Thank you for the opportunity to come online to talk about how to write a winning CV. Thank you. Now, I have some questions to ask as core members, to ask our core members that if your CV landed on your own desk as a recruiter, would you hire yourself? Would you consider yourself? I'm talking about the quality of your presentation. I'm talking about the essence, the reality of HR scanning. Is your CV telling your story, or you are just listing your struggles? You are just writing about the generic things we have online, copying AI generated content. And most times we have just 6 to 8 seconds to make a statement in our CVs. So are we shouting in those 6 seconds? This is the brutal reality of HR scanning. And you need to know that your CV should present you as a solution provider, not just a job seeker or an applicant. I'm talking about repositioning your mindset from being an applicant to being an asset. So your CV should present you as an asset, not a liability. It should reposition your mindset from being an applicant. You are not just applying for jobs now. You are presenting yourself as an asset, So this will boil down to listing results, not responsibilities, because employers are not after your task. You understand what you have done. They are after your outcomes. This is where you are going to learn the difference between duties and achievement. Duties and achievement. In this session, you are going to learn how to market yourself with your CV. That is the power of branding and positioning. Don't forget that your CV is your first impression. Before you are even invited for an interview, your CV should speak before you. So how loud does it speak? That is the question. How loud does your CV speak? Now, let me tell you some reasons why some CVs fail. The common mistake we have every time. Why many CVs fail? Because I've edited CVs countless times. I've revamped CVs, and sometimes when I review CVs, I notice some common mistakes every time. And one of them is overloading with generic phrases. You can see generic phrases like hardworking, team player. Enough of all this, you understand? Because these phrases do not show your real value, because they are too generic. Almost everyone is writing it. I tell job applicants every time that you need to be very intentional with every word in your CV. Every word. You need to be very intentional with every word in your CV. Avoid generic phrases. When you prompt AI to give you, to supply some words you can use for your career objectives, you can have something like hardworking, team player, I'm applying for any challenging role where I can utilize my skills. These phrases or words are very generic. They are generic, so you need to avoid them. This is one of the mistakes I see every time. Another fact is poor formatting. The crowded text. Some people write everything together. They try as much as possible to include every information. Some pieces of information, some bits of information are not important, but some applicants try as much as possible to write everything, and this leads to poor formatting, inconsistent font. I recommend Times New Roman if you're going to write a well-crafted CV that is visually appealing for job applications. So you need to ensure that your fonts are consistent. We also have the spelling errors. Spelling errors. You know, when you are supposed to write professional and you're writing professional, you understand, instead of SS. So this is one of the mistakes you need to avoid. This is one of the mistakes we see every time while reviewing CVs. So you need to proofread your CV before submission. Another mistake I see every time is listing only duties, job descriptions. Job descriptions. If you want to write a winning CV, you need to avoid writing duties. Nobody is after what you were told to do. Let us see what you did. How did you do it? And what is the result of what you did? So you need to have measurable achievements. Measurable achievements. Avoid listing only duties or descriptions or job descriptions. You know, sometimes you want to apply for a job, you have the job descriptions and you decided to write the same thing we have under the job descriptions in your CV, which is not supposed to be. So this is one of the reasons many CVs fail. Another mistake is sending the same CV everywhere without tailoring it to the role. Sending the same CV everywhere. You have the CV and you send it to more than 50 job descriptions every day. You know, that can be very stressful for the recruiters because they are concerned about how relevant is your experience to the job we just decided to advertise. You understand? So you need to avoid sending the same CV. You need to master how to tailor your CV to the role or to the job you're applying for. The last one, which is too long or too short. Your CV should not be too long, especially if you don't have enough experience, enough work experience. I'm talking about, sometimes you may be tempted to write irrelevant to work experience. Some work experience may not be relevant to the job you're applying for. So you need to leave them out of your CV. You need to avoid writing them in your CV. So make sure you list the jobs that are highly relevant to the job you are applying for. Don't forget, recruiters spend less than 8 seconds on a CV most times, and if it doesn't sell you at first glance, it fails. If your CV doesn't sell you at first glance, it fails. So you need to master how to catch the recruiter's attention, how to make your CV attractive in order to be called for interviews. Now, let us talk about the anatomy of a winning CV. The anatomy of a winning CV. So we're going to talk about the steps, what you can do. We are talking about the practical steps, the things you need to include in your CV, the anatomy of a winning CV. One, we have the header. The header. Here we're talking about your name, your contact info. We're talking about the professional email address and your phone number. So let me share my screen to show you an example. Talking about the contact info, which is very important. You're going to avoid writing generic. You're going to avoid writing irrelevant contact info. For example, your professional email address should include your full name. You are Segun Olawale. Your email address should include Segun Olawale. If it is going to have figures, it is fine. But don't write Shegzi 101 or Shegzi 107 at gmail.com. You understand? You need to avoid things like that. Your contact information must be professional. Your name, your contact information. If you are submitting your CV for international jobs, don't forget our country code. Our country code, that is our +234. And if you are submitting your CV anywhere in Nigeria, you can write 070, depending on your choice. We have the profile or summary. The profile or summary, the 2 to 4 lines should not exceed 2 to 4 lines, should indicate your skills, your experience, and career direction. talking about how relevant your work experience is to the job you are applying for. The core skills and competencies. The core skills and competencies. You need to highlight job relevant skills. You need to avoid generic. Imagine writing ability to work under pressure in 2025 in your CV. You need to avoid this. Your experience should be achievement driven. Achievement driven. What did you achieve as a customer service officer with OPay, for example? What did you achieve? We are not concerned about responsible, words like responsible for attending to customers. How many customers did you attend to? What is the result? As a teacher, how many students did you prepare for the UTME or for other external exams? How many students did you prepare for the examinations? What is their pass rate? 70%, 60%? You need to indicate this in your CV to show that you are concerned, you have interest in indicating your achievements. It needs to show that your experience is achievement driven. And don't forget that you need to use the reverse chronological order. The reverse chronological order in this sense is that you need to start with the most recent job. Let us assume that you are currently working in a bank as a marketer. That means the job you are doing right now should come first. That is what I mean by reverse chronological order. Education. So here you can write your university education, polytechnic education, your other aspects. Depending on what you intend to achieve with your application, you can write your grade, you can write when you started your education, when you started your university education, and when you ended it. I advise applicants to avoid writing information about their secondary education because it is not really necessary. So you can write your most recent, let us assume that you have your master's now, you can include that and your degree, but writing about secondary education is not really recommended, including the primary education. We have the certifications. Here you can now you can write about the certificates you got. If you got them through awards, you need to indicate them. The languages, your language proficiency, English, French, or basic. We have projects, the project you embarked on. So you can write about this, your volunteer experience, your internship. Now, most times I hear co-members saying that I don't have enough work experience. I can't write a good CV. I can't write anything for now because I have never worked anywhere. But don't forget that when you were with your mother, you were with your parents, you assisted them with their businesses. This can also be included. It doesn't have to be corporate jobs. So because they know that you don't have enough experience, but you have graduate trainee roles you can apply for, and they want to know the relevance of your skills to their applications. So you need to include everything you did. Even as a student, you were one of the student leaders. You worked with your parents, you assisted your uncle, you assisted your aunt, you assisted anybody with their private businesses. This can be included in your work experience. You don't have to submit a blank CV because what is the essence of submitting a CV without any experience? Now, let's talk about duties and achievements. Duties and achievements. Duties are the things you were hired to do. You were hired to create content as a content creator for a brand. Good, but that is too generic. What you are supposed to write in your CV is what you actually achieved. This is what sets you apart. For example, your duty can be for you to be responsible for customer complaints. Fine, as a customer service officer. But if you want to impress the recruiters, if you want to impress your prospective employers, you can write something like achieved 90% of resolved 90% of customer complaints within 24 hours, increasing repeat business. You understand? This will help you to indicate that you didn't just do it. This is what you did, and this is the result. After resolving 95% of customer complaints within 24 hours, it increased repeat business. This will set you apart in your application. So focus on what you really achieved. As a teacher, how many students did you teach in your class while preparing them for their external examination? You taught them English language, fine. What method did you use? How many methods did you use? And what is the result? What is their pass rate? 70% passed English language in their exam. Fine. You need to indicate this. This is what we actually set you apart. They know that you are achievement driven with this kind of CV. So you need to avoid just listing duties: responsible for teaching students, responsible for customer complaints, responsible for this and that. No, you need to make sure your CV indicates achievements. Henceforth, if you want to write your CV for applications, sit down, think about what you did, think about the results, think about how you achieved it, the impact. It should be impact driven, not by just including duties, what you were just hired to do. Now, how to format your CV, the layout, the skills and summary. You need to use clean and professional font. Just like I said, that I highly recommend Times New Roman. We have the fact that you need to also stick to at least 2 pages as a fresh graduate or as an ex-com member, especially if you don't have enough work experience. I'm talking about the fact that you are still struggling to write everything you did. Don't forget your IT experience also, your IT, your teaching practice, whatever you did as an undergraduate. This can be included in your CV. So you can stick to 1 or 2 pages, bold job titles, and use bullet points to indicate your role. Bullet points, 3 to 6 maximum per role. 3 things you did, 3 achievements, or 6. You can think about them depending on the number of achievements you can remember. Don't forget to keep your summary short and specific. Keep your summary short and specific. In addition, put the skills section up front because you are still coming up with your experience. So I recommend writing your skills up, the skills and competencies up. The common mistakes you need to avoid: don't submit one CV for all jobs. Always tailor your CV or key achievements to each role. Let them be highly relevant to the job you're applying for. Avoid informal emails. Don't overstuff your CV with irrelevant experiences. Highlight only what adds value to the job application. You can check for typos and grammatical errors. So proofread or ask a peer to review it. You can ask someone, your friend or anyone around you, to review your CV, to tell you the things you cannot even say. Lastly, if you don't have quantified achievements, quantifiable results in your CV, you need to fix it by adding numbers, percentages, or impact. Add numbers. How many customers did you attend to on a daily basis? The average number. Let's talk about resolving customer complaints. The average number of customers you attended to is 10. Fine. You need to indicate the number, the percentages, or impact. What is the impact of your results? The impact of your results to the organization. This is very important. This is very important. The essence of this is to make sure, is to present you as a candidate that is ready, as a candidate who is ready to add value to the company you're applying for. Your CV should be results-driven, achievement-driven. This is the secret to writing a professional CV. CV writing is not as difficult as many people think. It is about being strategic with your application. Having a compelling CV. There are many verbs you can use. Yes, many verbs you can use for your applications. I'm talking about the strong verbs you can use. We are talking about creation or innovation. We can talk about how you can write in your bullet points. You can write designed, developed, founded, depending on the key achievement you have. Okay, you were once a researcher as an undergraduate. Your undergraduate project, what you did, you analyzed, you investigated, you evaluated, you assessed, you measured, you examined, you tested. These action verbs are very important. They are strong action verbs you can use for your application. Talking about support, how you coached some students, mentored, collaborated, trained, facilitated, assisted, supervised. Communication, how you presented, negotiated, conveyed, advocated, articulate. Things like this can also be included. The verbs can also be included in your CV to show results. Responsible for maintaining inventory at store. No. What did you do? How much did you save in losses? How did you reduce stock out? These are very important for your applications. Helped teach students during tutorial. Fine, thank you. How many students did you teach? What is the result? Can you talk about how their average scores were improved from what percent to what percent? Let us assume you tutored 50 students weekly in mathematics. What is the average scores after their exam, the improvement you got? Improvement of average scores of from 45% to 70%, fine, in their school exam, internal exam. This will show that, wow, this candidate is results driven. We are not concerned about what you were told to do. Recruiters are highly concerned about the results you got, the outcomes, managed customer complaints. No, you resolved over 70% of customer complaints within 72 hours, improving customer satisfaction. These are the things you can use to emphasize your achievements, the verbs you can use. We call them the strong action verbs. Show how to add context, your results, the percentage, the time saved, the number of people you attended to, how you improved, how you contributed to the organizational success. Responsible for, I helped some people to use action verbs. Thank you so much for having me. So I would like to have your questions. Any questions before? Any questions?
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Song. That's such a great question. So you mentioned the other time that you want to share your screen to show us some of the formatting. I don't know if you can see you to do that.
Yes. Okay, I'm trying to, let me share it now. Okay, so this is an example. This is my CV, the header, the educational background, the professional memberships and affiliations, the relevant work experience, the leadership and volunteering experience, and the selected English columns. Some of the columns I wrote on the People's Daily, for the People's Daily newspapers. So this is what I mean by the header. You can see Samuel Tolulokwe Alimi. If you're submitting your CV to an organization in Nigeria, you can write your town or your city and the state. That is enough. You don't have to write for Johnson Street, Ikorodu, Adamu Ikorodu, Lagos State, Nigeria. No, just write your town, Ikorodu, Lagos. And you have to ensure that your address is close to the organization you are applying for. If you don't have that, you need to apply to jobs within your your environment unless you are ready to relocate, because this can affect your chances of being invited for interviews. Let us assume that you are trying to apply for a job in Ikeja and you are writing Ekpe, in your CV because you are in Ekpe. This can affect your chances of being invited to attend interviews, because they need to consider people who are in proximity to the environment. You understand? So avoid writing address unless you are willing to relocate. So you need to make sure that the address is very relevant to the job you're applying for. The phone number and the email address. You can see my email address, samueltolulokwealimi@gmail.com. So it is not samking01249@gmail.com. It has to be formal. It has to be professional. It has to indicate your name to show that this is your name. This is your email address. So you can screenshot this. So thank you. So do you have any questions before we?
All right, thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. If you have any question, please ask your question now. It's time for you to ask your question. Someone is asking here, do you have
Okay.
any TV editable format you can give us?
Yes. I will send it shortly.
You have any other question? If you ask your questions now, my dear core members, CV is one of the most important things you need to know how to write. If you have any question, maybe you have a CV already, you have any question you need to ask on your CV, this is the time. It's not every day that is here a CV expert that is willing to answer your question at no cost. Actually, if you want to do this on a normal day, like do presentation, I know how much you charge. Or if you want him to write for you, that's another thing. I think you don't mention that well. That you also want to write CV, maybe you don't want to go through the stress yourself. You need someone that can actually help you to do it professionally. But also like get in touch with him. We are going to send this. Okay, I think he's going to respond to that later. Okay. So, but then you have the time to ask questions now. You have the time to ask questions with anything that has been bothering you or disturbing you on your CV. So, yes. So, okay. So I don't know, Mr. Samuel, I don't know how much time do you have? I don't know if it's possible, like, to just give maybe an opportunity. If you have anybody here that have their CV in, like, in Andy, maybe they can send a link to it and then we can do it together. I don't know. Uh, uh, if
Hello.
or I don't
Hello.
know what the time schedule is.
Please, can you come again, sir?
Hello, hello, can you hear me?
Yes. Hello.
Okay, can you hear me well, sir? Okay, so
Yes, I
I'm
can
saying
hear
I
you
don't
now,
know
sir.
how much time you can. Yes, I can hear
Yes,
you.
I can hear you now.
Okay, sir, so I'm saying I don't know how much time. Okay, so I'm saying I don't know how much time you can be able to spare. So I'm asking if it's possible to give maybe anyone that have their CV in handy, maybe just share a link to it and probably, if you can be able to review it, so we can also see some of the things we need to avoid, at least for maybe other people that have done their CV already. I don't know if that's
Oh,
possible. If not, please,
yes,
I don't
that's
really want
possible.
to. What was it called? Okay,
Yes,
okay, that
that
is
is possible.
possible.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
okay, thank you so much. So this is an opportunity. We still have like this is we still have 15 people on the call. So we still have at least let me say 13 people for the talk. If you have a CV that you would like to review, can you send the link? We just have 1 minute for this. and it's just going to be available to just one person. So if you are the person, uh, yeah, just send a link. You need to, what's it called? I know by now, almost of we should know how to use Google Docs, but if you don't, tomorrow session is going to be on how to use Google Workspace. So if you have your CV and the, I mean, as a link or Google Docs, not as a what's it called, a link that you can click on and you can share, so everybody can see it. So please just drop the link on the in the chat. If you have any other questions, so this is the time to drop it. If you don't get any of these in the next 2 minutes, then I will assume I will take it as we don't have questions and nobody's ready to like what's it called, drop their CV here. Okay, I'm still waiting for that. So while waiting for that, I like to like ask a question, sir. So I know Mr. Mayowa the other time also mentioned that aside from people going to you getting work and preparing for things. Okay, I have one person I've sent it already. Should I share it from my end here or will you share it from your end, sir? So one person just drop a link.
Okay.
So will you share it from your end or I should share it from my end, sir?
You can share it, sir.
Okay. Okay, so you need to I'm requesting access. So you need to request, you need to accept it, please. I just request access. Yeah, that's for his gift. Please accept the request so I can be able to have access to it. So actually, the question I want to ask is that I know some of us might be here that are not probably writing a CV just to get work. Maybe you're planning on like applying for scholarships and getting for the yes, applying for scholarships and all of this postgraduate this thing. And one of the things everybody has to do is whether an academic CV. Is there any major difference between an academic CV and a work CV? Or are these things that we need to add in our academic CV that is not only necessary in the work CV, or the things we need to add in our work CV that may not be necessary in our academic CV?
Okay, thank you, sir. The major difference is that you need to tailor your experience to the course you are applying for. You are applying for a master's program in a specific field, you understand? What you need to achieve is in your CV writing, your academic CV writing, is to make sure the things the work experience, the research experience, everything is results oriented, results driven, just like you are about to write a CV for a job. Most times, especially if you're applying for postgraduate studies, teaching assistantship and every other thing involved in your admission, your teaching experience should also come in. Your professional experience should also indicate that you are prepared. You are prepared for the course you are applying for. So everything should be in preparation for the course you are applying for. It should show that you are in the line. You have prepared yourself. You have groomed yourself for the course. I don't know if I have answered your question.
Yes, thank you so much, sir. There's another question here. We'll just take this before we now review the CV because while reviewing the CV, because of some personal information, this thing is currently being recorded. I don't want to record that particular aspect of reviewing, so we won't put uh, our sister out there for anybody that's going to be watching the recording later. So I want you to please answer this last question, and then I'm going to stop the recording while we share the, I will now share the CV so we can review it. So the question says, please, what's the difference between a CV and a resume? And also, is there an exact number of pages for a CV?
Okay, just like I said at the beginning of the class, that of the session, that if you're a fresh graduate, you can decide to tailor your CV. You can decide to write the information, every information you need to write on a page or 2 pages, maximum 2 pages. This is because you are just coming in as an entry-level applicant. So there is no maximum number. But to be on a safer side, to be very safe, you understand? So you need to make sure that your CV is at least 2 pages as a fresh graduate. But if you are so confident that you have enough work experience, I'm talking about relevant work experience, not because you want to, have a lot of pages, you want to impress your prospective employers. No, the essence is to make sure that you grab their attention. You grab their attention to make sure that you have a compelling document for your application. So there is no exact number of pages for a CV. Thank you. Now, concerning the difference between a CV and a resume. In the US, the major difference between a CV and a resume is just the length and the format. But in the UK, we have the fact that a CV is a detailed and comprehensive document you write to indicate your entire academic and professional history. And most times, CVs are usually used for academic or research positions. But in Nigeria, we call the CV, the resume CV in Nigeria. I don't know if you got my point. This resume is just a concise document, document you write to indicate your relevant skills and experience. Most times it is not more than, it is usually a page or 2 pages maximum. But a CV does not have a maximum number of pages. A CV is always detailed. It contains everything about your academic journey. In Nigeria, if employers tell you to submit your resume, your CV, most times they require yours. They mean your resume because they are talking about writing your application, your document to indicate your most relevant skills and experience. So, have I answered your question? Hello? Hello? I think we have technical issue now. Hello?
All right. Oh, thank you so much. Someone is saying the
Okay,
answer
someone is
is
saying that my answer is not clear.
okay, I
Now,
don't
let me
know.
explain
So
better. Let me
I'm just
explain now.
going to what's it called?
Okay.
So I'm going to stop the recording now. Thank you so much, Mr. Samuel. So we just have like maybe 5 minutes to wrap up the session. All right. So can you confirm you can hear me clearly, please?
Okay. Hello.
Can you hear me clearly, sir?
Yes, I can hear you. Now, let me quickly explain what I just said. Let me quickly explain again, sir. Just a minute.
Okay, sir.
Thank you. Now, I'm talking about a CV. A CV is a detailed, comprehensive document you use for entire academic and professional history. You are using it for academic or research positions, while a resume is always tailored to the job you are applying for. But in Nigeria, if you are told to submit your CV, they are asking for your resume because they expect you to write the relevant experience, this experience or skills relevant to the job you are applying for. That is the major difference. So a CV does not have maximum number of pages, but your resume can be a page or 2 pages because you have to make sure whatever you want to include should be relevant to the job you're applying for. So in Nigeria, what we call a CV is actually a resume. Thank you. Okay, it is very clear now. Thank you so much. You're welcome.
All right. Thank you so much, sir. So just going to like stop the recording now so we can add the video of the CV that we have here, and then we're going to like uh wrap up the session. Thank you so much. If you're watching the recording, thank you so much to the end.